Welcome to Cover Story. I am Priya Saigal and today we shall be discussing the rather dramatic breakup of the Aam Aadmi Party. The party seems split wide open. On the one side is the party ideologue, Yogendra Yadav, founding members of the party, Prashant Bhushan. Some would say with Yogendra Yadav going out, almost the soul of the Aam Aadmi Party has gone out. But the Kejriwal camp on the other side alleges that the entire Delhi win was on his name, on the 5 Saal Kejriwal slogan. And why is he being called autocratic? By a group of people that didn't support them in the Delhi elections, but actually worked to sabotage the party. And to discuss this with me today, I have in the studio a very distinguished panel. I have with me Pankaj Vora, Managing Editor, Sunday Guardian, Dilip Cherian, Image Guru and also political commentator, and Dheeraj Nayyar, another political analyst. Dheeraj, I'll begin with you. Is this the beginning of the end for Kejriwal, or you think he'll recover without Yogendra Yadav?
No, I think it's the beginning of the end for Yogendra Yadav and Prashant Bhushan more than Kejriwal. I suspect, ugly though this is, Kejriwal will survive because, as you said in your introduction, he's the one who delivered them Delhi. His name delivered them Delhi, and he has a comfortable majority, which is clearly not threatened. There are no rebels amongst, at least not so far, amongst those 67 MLAs. So I suspect he's going to survive it. It's very ugly and very unfortunate that a nascent party should go through this, which is what I think this kind of bitterness and open war is rarely seen even in the national parties. But it's happened, and I think Kejriwal will survive it. As for Yogendra Yadav, Prashant Bhushan, they can form another party, but frankly, none of them are mass leaders.
Correct.
So I see their future is bleak. I suspect Kejriwal will live to fight another day.
Dilip, Kejriwal will survive, but you know what I said, hasn't the soul gone out with Yogendra Yadav? Because he was really the philosopher, the ideologue.
I agree. But, essentially, if you look at parties, they work on the human instinct at 3 levels. There are some parties who work on fear.
Right.
And, the majority's fear that the minority is going to swamp us, for example, can be a fear. There are other parties who work on the logic of palace politics, gossip. And there are the third kind of party which works on myths. We can't clean up the system. We're going to clean up the system. As long as Kejriwal doesn't lose the myth that he has created, that there is a new Delhi that's going to be created, he's got the core. Yogendra Yadav, in fact, enunciated it very well, but Kejriwal now doesn't need enunciation, he needs delivery. Neither Prashant nor Yogendra were going to be the big delivery people. So, does he have a chance? I think yes. Does the soul remain? As long as the myth is propagated, it remains.
Pankaj, some would say now Kejriwal doesn't need ideology. He needs delivery. He needs people who can deliver, somewhat a bit like Modi, I would say, who used a Yediyurappa or a Amit Shah, regardless of whatever corrupt taints that were alleged with their name, because these are men who could deliver. So Kejriwal will now get an Ashutosh instead of a Yogendra Yadav or a Ashish Khaitan, people who deliver rather than people who philosophize.
No, essentially, as Dheeraj was also saying, Kejriwal has emerged very, very strong from this power struggle which was going within the Aam Aadmi Party. Yogendra Yadav, I mean, it's not very accurate. I wouldn't say that, Yogendra Yadav was the only soul in the party. The Aam Aadmi Party had basically was an extension of the India's movement against corruption. And, it was people who have all, occupied key positions in Aam Aadmi Party are the people who had come out from Anna Hazare movement. And after that, there was a fierce power struggle in which Kejriwal has clearly emerged as the stronger person, and he's the undisputed leader, and as long as he's there, I don't think there's any problem within the Aam Aadmi Party. And the two gentlemen, both Yogendra Yadav and Prashant Bhushan, I think it is the end of the road for them.
End of the road for them, but there are some of the issues that raised were issues that struck a chord with the rest of the national, like going national. Let's go to Punjab, let's go to Haryana. Will Kejriwal do that now? Or
I think it is the end of the road for them.
End of the road for them, but there are some of the issues that raised were issues that struck a chord with the rest of the national, like going national. Let's go to Punjab, let's go to Haryana. Will Kejriwal do that now, or is he wary of promoting another face that can compete with him?
Well, obviously he's wary, and frankly the Lok Sabha result where they stood for 434 seats and I think lost their deposits in 400 was a bit of a chastening experience. I think that worried Kejriwal. He felt that kind of defeat nationally could drive them out of relevance. So I think he'll proceed slowly. Punjab is an obvious place they'll go to because they have MPs from there, and that's a place where both the alternatives are a little discredited. So that's an obvious place. Haryana is an obvious place. But I think Yogendra Yadav and Prashant Bhushan, I think the points they were making and where they can damage Kejriwal even now is not by forming another political party necessarily, but if they go on to expose what they claim is tainted politics entering the Aam Aadmi Party. Because the USP, as Dilip said, is of a certain kind of alternate politics. Now, the danger with Yadav and Bhushan is not that they'll form another competitive party, but can they damage that myth? I don't know if they're planning to do that or if that's part of their strategy, but I think that's where the danger lies for Kejriwal. Otherwise, I suspect he's going to get over this. Because, I mean, do you remember even Modi, in the run-up to his anointment as PM, there was a lot of infighting in the BJP, older leaders were sidelined, but people forgot about it. Because as long as you are clearly the most popular leader, which Kejriwal is today for AAP, then these things are forgotten after a while.
You know, Modi, he used the Modi analogy. The Modi analogy did it in a more gentle way, sidelining. You know, he had that so-called Mardarshak panel. He sidelined them, but he hasn't pushed them out. Here, literally, Yogendra Yadav is clear. Bouncers were used to push people out.
You know, if you look at the Aam Aadmi Party, it is a party created for the Twitter generation. So things are going to happen
Say
very
someone
fast.
who's so often on the Twitter himself.
No, everything is going to happen at an accelerated pace. This is not a party which is going to lead by cogitation, by consultation and things like that, with a difference. I think the big difference is that the Aam Aadmi Party believes that that cycle rickshaw guy who went to all 70 constituencies to propagate the AAP message is as important as Prashant Bhushan, who may have given the initial donation. And that's something that so-called big leaders are not used to. And if they can stick to that and continue to keep their volunteer as the core, and as long as they can keep corruption out, both important and both difficult things, then I think Kejriwal has the brand AAP intact.
Kejriwal brand, but he's also getting branded with the brand Modi, autocratic, someone who has his own men, people who deliver rather than people, you know, who have the right image, so to speak.
I don't think it is autocratic because, you know, if you see, even in today's voting, the voting was overwhelmingly in favor of Kejriwal. And in a democratic
But they did not
setup-
have a secret ballot. Now, Ashutosh's claim is we don't need a secret ballot. Yogendra Yadav says secret ballot will give them people the guts to vote for
I mean,
his favor.
at one hand they want transparency, on the other hand they want, you know, secret ballot. What kind of a thing is it? You know, if you look at it, 167 members, you know, moved a resolution asking
Against
for
them.
their expulsion, and 247 voted in their favor, and 4 people abstained. So they were clearly outmaneuvered in a democratic kind of a setup. The National Executive and the National Council before that, I mean, have both been convened at the instance of Yogendra Yadav and Prashant Bhushan. It has not worked for them. And, you know, it has happened in various political parties in the past also. When the Bharatiya Janata Sangh was formed, you know, it had, 10 presidents in the first 15 years. 2 of them joined the Congress from the Mauli Chandra Sharma and one more person. Balraj Madhok was a co-founder. He was expelled from the party by, Vajpayee and Nanaji Deshmukh and Advani, getting their things together. Narendra Modi has come to power. Amit Shah has become the president. For 10 months, he did not hold a meeting of the National Executive.
So your point is that there is scope for...
So this is what the Congress people always say, that the Gandhi family is the glue which holds together the Congress. Now you feel some sympathy for them because, sometimes when there's a bitter infighting, which there is in all parties, frankly, it's nothing unique to AAP or to India. I mean, it happens in all democracies across the world. But then somebody's got to be taller than the others and either take the bull by the horns, which Kejriwal has done. I mean, he's clearly the domineering figure in AAP, and he's used his brute majority, however ugly it may seem to us, to have his way. Otherwise, you do it in the Congress way, where there's a overarching family which, can get the dissension sorted out without it going out into public. But this is a fact of life in politics, and I think Yogendra Yadav and Prashant Bhushan have ended up on the wrong side of it, unfortunately.
So in a sense, what Dheeraj is saying is right, that you need a person to help a party to survive.
Right.
And this is almost like a young geological formation. There will be very high peaks and there will be troughs. And I think the public may be unused to it. It's also going to be analyzed a lot. But ultimately, you've got to have the core thing for a party to survive.
Dilip, you're in the business of image building, image management. Can Kejriwal overcome this image of, using brute power? I mean, the image of being an autocrat has come out after today's meeting. What will he have to do now to overcome that?
what he has to do is be a bit of an autocrat in terms of managing Delhi.
He should carry-
he should carry the image of being an autocrat in terms of managing Delhi. Because what is the public looking for? They don't want a bunch of incompetent ninnies running the government. And that is what AAP is going to be tested by. And if he does that, and if he gets autocratic and says, let's get this moving, the image will be actually better.
So you have to
Yes,
start
I mean,
delivering.
I'm not an image consultant, but I thought autocrat was actually a positive thing in the Indian context. People look for those strong, decisive leaders who can deliver.
Jayalalitha,
But of course,
Mayawati, people
if
who
they
can
can deliver.
firm-
If they can deliver.
When will Kejriwal start delivering? Because he's got this whole very populist subsidy Raj kind of delivery plan.
Well, he has his own game plan, and he has already announced that there will be power subsidy for people and water consumption for people beyond a certain.
What he
till
said
a
in his
certain
first
limit.
run, he's not done anything different really to say, oh, this is
No,
a man.
he has.
What?
He's announced today the e-ration cards, and I think that's a smart move to have done on the eve of the of this meeting. Sorry, Pankaj. That's one thing he's done, which is new.
Well, I think, we have given Mr. Modi about 10.5 months to show what he has done in the last 10.5 months. We should give at least 6 months to Kejriwal. In case he does not do it, people will themselves start opposing him. He has raised also so many expectations, and if he does not deliver, he will have to, face the heat when the time comes.
Just a quick thing. Equally important is what he has not done. Because in the first time around his 49-day government, he took to the streets, he was angry about everything. This time seems a little more mature, Kejriwal. So that itself may enable people to give him that time that Pankaj is talking.
Dilip, just to be a little cheeky here, one person I can get away with, is Yogendra Yadav becoming a bit like Kejriwal now? He's doing a dharna, he's playing the victim card, and last night I even heard him coughing a hell of a lot on TV.
Yogender has an endearing quality to him.
You trust his face.
But endearing is not good enough in politics. Enduring is more important than endearing.
I like that line. In fact, as Dheeraj says, he doesn't have a mass base, neither Prashant Bhushan nor Yogendra Yadav.
Basically, people who are opposing Kejriwal are the ones who either lost the elections or never contested the elections. Those who, if Yogendra Yadav and, Prashant Bhushan asked, did they campaign for any candidate in Delhi except in Timarpur, where this Pankaj Pushkar, one of their nominees, was there? Basically they were the ones who were trying to take the Aam Aadmi Party towards ultra left, while Kejriwal wanted to keep it as a centrist party. And all these allegations of brute power being used, I think no one has come forward and showed any kind of injuries anyone has sustained. If there was Bowsers used, somebody should have had a broken nose, or some should have had a broken arm. The television should
Check
have
the OPD wards of hospitals.
highlighted all that. Nothing of that sort seems to have happened.
I think in
Ashutosh
a
says
democracy,
nothing
what is brute is really the numbers. So he clearly had overwhelming numbers on his side, and no one can deny that fact. Now, if it was, I think the Political Affairs Committee was a closer split of the vote. This is overwhelming. So, when you have numbers on your side in a democratic system, then whether the others like it or not, you win.
We're going to take a break, but Dilip, before that, a quick thing. This whole, looking back, I think the cracks really began when Yogendra Yadav was denied the chance to fight the Haryana Assembly. This is soon after the Lok Sabha debacle. Looking back, was it a bit unfair for Kejriwal? I know he was hurt by Lok Sabha, but give this guy a chance to prove himself in Haryana.
I think it would be disastrous to go to too many states, if you ask me. And I think that Kejriwal recognized that after he lost the Lok Sabha thing, and he recognized it quite early. Smart for him. And definitely, if they make any move sooner than Punjab, it will be a disaster. They should not be looking at Bihar, in my view.
They should not. Bihar is the next really big challenge, and they've been asked to go to Bihar by Nitish Kumar and
But they
others.
should not.
Basically, the Aam Aadmi Party game plan seems to be that they want to consolidate in Delhi and later perhaps go to Punjab. Other states will follow later, but these are the two immediate priorities. So it seems. It is up to their national executive to decide what they wish to do.
In the end, it's going to depend on he has to, like Modi had a Gujarat model to campaign on, he's going to have a Delhi model. So if he delivers something in Delhi in the next 5 years, or if he has a second term, and if people see that's a way worth emulating in other parts, then he'll automatically get an appeal outside Delhi. But without any delivery, just on an anti-corruption campaign is tough.
He said all these leaders who left are really the left ideologue.
Or if he has a second term, and if people see that's a way worth emulating in other parts, then he'll automatically get an appeal outside Delhi. But without any delivery, just on an anti-corruption campaign is tough.
You know, he said all these leaders who left are really the left ideologues. But what is Kejriwal's politics, economics? Is he left of center? So far he seems very...
You know, it's very tempting in image terms to give them a name to hang them.
You are the labels man.
But I'll tell you that I think the smart thing that Kejriwal and his current crew are doing is that they're saying our ideology is kind of nascent. Because I think defining an ideology is very tempting, but this is a generation which believes in doing things which are pragmatic and not trying to get caught in either one silo or the other.
You know, we've seen this pragmatism with Modi, for instance. You know how he's same thing that Indira Gandhi did when she got rid of the syndicate. She built her own team. So is there a new AAP emerging really with the new generation of leaders and Ashutosh, Ashish Khaitan, Sanjay Singh?
The party is evolving. Obviously, new leaders will come up. The ones who have lost or ones who have lost either in the power struggle or in elections will fall by the wayside. Modi is doing the same thing. It will happen in the Congress. It is going to happen in the Aam Aadmi Party. It's a very natural phenomenon, and it is, you know, to Kejriwal's credit, he took the risk. You know, he contested against Sheila Dikshit, who was a sitting chief minister. Then he contested against Modi in Varanasi when the party had all India ambitions. And you know, Yogendra Yadav never went to contest against Bhupender Hooda from Rohtak. You know, I mean, Prashant Bhushan didn't go to any other place to contest against the sitting chief minister. So if you take risks, sometimes you win, sometimes you lose.
So it's the street fighters versus the armchair politicians. You know, Sharjah Ilmi, Dilip, she gave me a very interesting parallel. She said he's running Aam Aadmi Party like Orwell's Animal Farm. Do you think she's just being very bitter, or there is a ring of truth in it?
I think that what we have to concede is that parties at this stage need one leader. They need quickly to find lieutenants. That's a job he has to do, and I'm sure that he has a big task in terms of being able to do that. But Animal Farm and notions of that are only sour grapes.
Sour grapes. We're going to come back to this, but we need to take a quick short break. After that, we are going to come and discuss what Dilip says, enduring politics versus enduring politics, which is the better model. So stay with us and come back. Welcome back to Cover Story. We are discussing the future of the Aam Aadmi Party. After the split, what is the road ahead, both for the rebel camp and also for Kejriwal's own image and his future in politics. Neeraj, you want to take this one?
Well, I think the future for Prashant Bhushan and Yogendra Yadav as politicians doesn't look very great. They can try and launch another political party, of course, but I suspect that they will probably go back to, you know, activism and
maybe give you competition sitting here as an analysis.
Maybe you'll have them here, or at least Yogendra Yadav, who is quite a distinguished cephalogist and analyst. No, but more seriously, I think I'm waiting to watch what damage they're going to inflict, if any, on Kejriwal and Aam Aadmi Party. Do they actually have solid evidence of malpractices or of corruption or of non-transparency? Because right now it's not sticking. I mean, it's bitter and ugly and so on, but there's no serious charge that I've been able to make out other than the fact that he's autocratic.
And other than fact,
there's nothing, so I mean, autocratic, as I said in the first segment, not necessarily something people will say, oh God, you know, that's such a bad thing. I mean, they're just viewing it as he's a decisive guy, he's getting rid of guys who are not agreeing with him. So unless they come up with something more specific, if they, and I'm not sure they should be stinging each other like they have. But if they have something more substantive, then they should come out with it right now. Otherwise, I suspect that they'll fade away as politicians, and we'll see them back in their old roles. And Kejriwal clearly has a political mantle, so he's going to continue. Of course, I mean, all this is not good for the image of a new party. I mean, such bitter infighting so early on. But I think he's just, few months into his term in government in Delhi. If he delivers a few things, not even a few months, yeah. So if he delivers a few things, all this will be forgotten. But yeah, now the task for him is to govern Delhi and govern it well.
Quickly, Dilip. In fact, Dilip, the joke is, you know, these 15,000 CCTVs he's promised have all been installed in the AAP MLA's houses because they're just stinging each other and taping conversations with each other.
You know, that's a real danger, because, you know, you might have in Yogendra Yadav and Prashant a conduit for more stings to happen, and that's a danger that Arvind Kejriwal has to guard against, because many of these MLAs are going to be targets, and if that, you know, there's less importance to the image of being cohesive and more important to have the message of the myth continue. because that myth matters in terms of governance, because that's one of the things that's expected of this government. So it's a tough call, and that could be an alternate role for them, and I hope that both Prashant and Yogender, who are very fine individuals in their own rights, get back to what they do well, and rather than spend their time trying to inflict damage.
What would be your advice?
The sting culture was, basically encouraged by Mr. Kejriwal himself.
Correct.
When in public meetings he tells people that you should recording kar lo or apna camera
good
on kar
point,
lo,
yes.
and that's what Yogendra Yadav and Prashant Bhushan or people who were opposed to him have been encouraging also. So it is now being used against each other. So they have to guard against this kind of a thing. And their image has been, whatever Kejriwal may have emerged stronger, but he has been also bruised in this power struggle. There are people who, since everything has been played out in the media, people are, somewhat disillusioned. So Kejriwal has to reinforce his, commitment to serve the people of Delhi. He has to ensure that, this, what has gone on in Aam Aadmi Party does not in any way impact the functioning of the government.
So you have to start delivering and start governing, right?
And I'm also a little, my jury's still open on his chosen lieutenants. I mean, people like Ashutosh and Ashish Khaitan, both of whom happen to be, full disclosure, ex-colleagues of mine in
yours.
different organizations. Whatever their merits, they are not grassroots politicians either. I mean, they are basically till a year ago, they were people like us, sitting
Correct.
in studios or sitting in. So, how they adapt to politics. Right now, they're colleagues of mine in
yours.
different organizations. Whatever their merits, they are not grassroots politicians either. I mean, they are basically till a year ago, they were people like us, sitting
Correct.
in studios or sitting in. So, how they adapt to politics. Right now, they're just riding the Kejriwal bandwagon. But as you go forward, what role they play? I mean, those who are not in the Delhi government but in the party, some of them will become MPs eventually in the Rajya Sabha. So these are still untested quantities, and how Kejriwal even manages those who are left behind will be a challenge for him. It will be interesting, because at some point somebody may start getting larger than life. That will always be my concern with Kejriwal. Can he allow anyone to not become, say, his level, but even a little bit above what his lieutenants currently are?
Which I don't think he will encourage.
I don't know.
He has to ensure that the coterie doesn't come around him, and people who are not competent to be there do not, just because they are psychopaths or they should not be encouraged by him at all. He should ensure that merit should remain the main factor, and he should be the first among equals, but he should choose his friends and associates
choose
very
his
well.
people well. Dilip, last word to you.
This may have been a bloodless coup, but the bruises will show. And the only answer Kejriwal should have is to appoint powerful people as people in charge of the party, get out, become a full-time serving chief minister, and make sure that those people run the party in an organized manner which keeps the core of volunteerism alive. Because equality is something which is very basic. A volunteer doesn't care for hierarchy, but he needs to have somebody who can channelize that, and it can't be him doing that every day unless he really wants to let Manish Sisodia, who's very competent, run the government.
And
In which
Kejriwal
case- and Kejriwal runs the party.
Okay, I'm sorry, we're running out of time now. Kejriwal now needs to choose his people well, choose the next thought of action very closely, because now people are watching. He has to start governing, start delivering, and this time he needs to choose people he can work with, get along with. But from us, that's all for now. Thank you for watching Cover Story. We'll see you again, same time next week.